Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Peep the new merch. You can't see all of it, but I'll put a picture of it on the screen. I also have a blue version I'll put on the screen as well. If you're interested in this merch, which was made in collaboration with Love Skink Rescue, I recommend checking them out down below. But if you're interested in this merch, I will leave a link for the green variety and the blue variety down below. You can also just go to the Teespring shop and find them there. But either way, there's plenty of links for you to check out down below. And yeah, get yourself some cute little Just As Animal Friends merch. Okay. Second thing before we get started is to please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, please consider supporting me so I can buy some brain cells for my white tree frogs. Anyways, please consider supporting us on Patreon or by becoming a channel member. We'd love to have you. And with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. Today's video is about why red bulbs are actually dangerous for reptiles. Now, first, let's talk about why they're advertised as safe. So red light bulbs are advertised for particularly nighttime use, although people also can use them during the day. But they're advertised as a nighttime bulb or good for nighttime because they're red. For some reason, the advertisers or whoever created the bulb believed that reptiles can't perceive red, so they don't know that there is a light above them, and therefore their day-night cycle is not disturbed. Unfortunately, this is not true, and the red bulb is dangerous for other reasons, but we're going to talk about this one first. So first and foremost, it's categorically untrue. Like humans, reptiles have photoreceptor cells called cones in their eyes. Humans have cone cells. It's how we detect color. These cells are responsible for responding to wavelengths of light, and as you may or may not know, wavelengths of light are different based on color or how we perceive color, because there's no such thing as color really, it's just how we respond to light, which is really fascinating and a subject for another day. But reptiles have these cones as well. In fact, they have an extra one humans don't have, which responds to UV, so they can actually see wavelengths more than humans, which is pretty cool. But because they have these cone cells that respond to red, they can in fact see the red bulb. Now, there are some reptiles that do not have cone cells that respond to red, but they do have cone cells that respond to green. And because green and red are opposing colors, red can actually be detected by the cone cell that is responsible for responding to wavelengths that, produce green or what we perceive as green. There goes Jackson. Now, because these reptiles who don't have the cone cells that respond to red, they do have the green ones, and because green and red are opposing colors, they can still perceive red. It's just not going to be to the same degree that reptiles who have the cone cells that respond to red can. So even in reptiles that are often crepuscular or nocturnal, that do not have the cell that can respond... White tree frog tomfoolery, anyways. So even in reptiles that are crepuscular or nocturnal and they cannot perceive red with their red cone cells, they still in fact can see red. It's just to a lesser degree. These reptiles that don't often have the red cone cell or the cone cell that responds to red, they're crepuscular and nocturnal. So even though they can still perceive red, it's just going to be a bit dimmer. Now you'd think, oh, that's not so bad then, because these bulbs are advertised to crepuscular and nocturnal reptiles as being safe because they can't see red at night. The problem with that is they can still see it, and because they've evolved to see really well in dim or dark conditions, they're going to be hypersensitive to any light that's present, even the red light. So it's categorically untrue that reptiles cannot detect the red light, and therefore having the red light above their enclosure, whether or not they are a diurnal, crepuscular, or nocturnal reptile, will disrupt their day-night cycle. And for reptiles who are crepuscular or nocturnal who have sensitive vision, particularly in dark conditions, the red light is especially bad. So there's other reasons why red bulbs are dangerous, and one of those reasons is because it impacts the way that a reptile's pupil dilates. So reptiles like bearded dragons are designed to be able to keep UV out of their eyes because that's harmful to their eyes long term. So they have pupils that dilate to keep the UV rays out. However, when you use a red bulb in captivity, the red bulb is actually too dim, and instead the pupil will not dilate enough and UV rays will be let in, so it's actually bad for their eyes over time. Another reason why the red bulb is dangerous or just not functional or not useful or not beneficial is because it does not actually create enough heat for a lot of reptiles in captivity. This is particularly the case with high heat species. So say you choose a red bulb as like your main basking source, you may actually be doing your reptile some damage by not letting their body heat up enough, which which is crucial for their longevity and their overall health. So keeping them too cold increases the risk for infection, increases the risk for digestive issues, not being able to digest or pass their food, or becoming impacted if they ingest substrate because they can't pass it. Your reptile may also be lethargic if they're too cold, and their overall behavior will be decreased. So it's just really not good to give them not enough heat, and red bulbs, unfortunately, for some, not all species, are not going to provide enough heat. So they can in fact be seen by reptiles, which means they can in fact disrupt the important day-night cycle for reptiles. They also are not bright enough to create the right pupil dilation that can then cause damage to the eyes long term, and they also may not get warm enough to keep your reptile warm. So there's other heat sources you can choose from that are much better than a red bulb. Let's talk about what you can use during the daytime and what you can use at night. So during the day, for species like a bearded dragon or some sort of diurnal lizard, you can just use a halogen bulb. Now for nighttime, if you need to provide heat to a diurnal species, or if you want to provide heat all night and all day without producing light, you can use a ceramic heat emitter, or you can use a deep heat projector. These are all sources of heat from above, because since the red bulb is a bulb, we're just strictly speaking about heat sources from above. There's other types of heat sources available that are separate from heat from above, and so that's a whole separate issue. But if you want to use heat from above, those are better options than a red bulb. I hope you found that informational and insightful. Let me know if you did down below. Also, again, please consider supporting getting the merch. Also, please consider checking us out on Patreon or by becoming a channel member. We'd love to have you. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. And a special thank you from me, Benjamin, and the rest of the animals here at Jessica's Animal Friends to our patrons and channel members.